introduction. I was just trying to come on here happy because this video about to be sad. But hey guys, this is my second video. If you didn't see my first video, which is my Q&A video, is up right now. So please go watch it, like it, and please subscribe. Y'all have been showing me love though. Um, Last time I looked, I think it was like 50 something views. But let me tell you, them views don't match up with them subscribers, okay? Because so some of y'all just watching and not subscribing. Like, what's tea? What's tea? You don't like me? You don't like me? But no, please, please subscribe, like, comment, share. For those of you who probably hard headed and ain't gonna watch the first video, my name is Kia. You can call me Kia, you can call me Kiki. It doesn't really matter. And this video, oh, and if y'all wondering what this is, I was washing my face, and this is for like to keep my hair back, and I didn't take it off because I didn't feel like it, to be honest. I was gonna keep my hair in a ponytail because I play with my hair a lot. Not just like making videos like this, but like just making videos on Instagram. I play with my hair a lot, but I let it down though because I look like a little girl. But yeah, that's what this is. It's to keep my hair back because when I was washing my face and I don't feel like taking it off. But this video is going to be about how my 4-month-old daughter passed away. And excuse the noise in the background if you hear a child yelling. That is my nephew. I know y'all heard it in the first video. He's a hyperactive child. And he will be in my videos a lot. Um, but yeah, this video is going to be about my 4-month-old daughter and how she passed. I got my tissues. Because I know I'm finna be crying. A little disclaimer. It's going to be a sad video. It is. So, just to let y'all know that now. So, and if you see me pausing a lot, it's because like I'm probably getting choked up or I might start crying. If I start ugly crying, I'm cutting that out. If you see a few tears drop, I'm gonna leave that in. But if I start ugly boohoo crying, I'm cutting it out. But so, whew, I'm getting choked up already. Alright, where do I start? So, when my daughter was born, well, my daughter's name is Kennedy, for a lot of you that do not know. I had a daughter named Kennedy. She passed away on October 6th when she was 4 months old. Okay, so when she was born, she only had one thing called SVT. And I will put the definition of it below. Not in the description box. I'm going to take a screenshot of the definition on Google and put it in the video. But it's basically when a baby has high heart rate. And that's one of the reasons why I had to have her. Because her heart rate was so high. And that was the only thing she was born with. Like, she didn't need oxygen or none of the other stuff she died for. She didn't have it. She only had that high heart rate. So she was born at HUP, which is, if you're not from Philadelphia, is Hospital of University of Penn. So she was there. She only had a high heart rate, and then they was trying to feed her, but for some reason she could not keep milk down. Breast milk, formula, nothing. She could not keep it down. She would always throw all of it back up. One time she even threw up, like her throw up was green or whatever. So they found out that she had got an infection because the milk wasn't passing through her stomach right. So she had to get hooked up to the IVs and all of that to get, basically sugar water. That's what they give like the newborns, sugar water, um, to keep them hydrated. And so, next thing you know, I came in and they're telling me that she had to go on oxygen, the oxygen that get put in your nose. She had to go on that because she wasn't breathing quite right. So I'm like, okay, okay. So for a minute, she just had to stay in there because of her heart problem, and she started not breathing right. So, as days went on and weeks went on, one day I went to go visit her. Scariest day of my life. Scariest day of my life. And to be a first time mom, listen. So one day I was to go see her, and I was sitting by her bedside. Next thing you know, the monitor started beeping out of control, and everybody came rushing to her, like the nurses and the doctors, and I had to back up. So my heart is beating so fast. I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? So I look. I always look at all the monitors, and her heart rate. Her heart rate used to stay at about like 130 something, 140 something. When I looked at it, it was 200. Way too high for a baby. Way, way too high for a baby. So when I saw that, I'm panicking. Like the way the doctors and them is acting, oh my god, I'm panicking. So then the doctor is like, it's okay. She having a high heart rate episode, which is the SVT, but I just never been there to see it. It just was so freaking scary. Like I was texting my baby dad because I was so freaking scared. I didn't know what to do, and it came back to normal. Her heart rate, it came back to normal, and then it just kept like she just kept having high heart rate episodes after that. Like she'll be fine one minute, then the next minute she'll do it again. So that day, I guess she did it more than normally, and so the doctors want us to contact CHOP, which is, if you're not from Philly, is Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and they have heart doctors over there, and they also have a certain kind of heart medicine that my her doctor recommended her to probably get to control her high heart rate, but they didn't do it at the hospital she was born at. So she had to get switched to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So when she went over there, it's like when she went over there, all hell broke loose. Like, I'm not saying like the doctors or the hospital did it. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like, okay, so she got switched over there for this medicine, right? Then come to find out she couldn't even take that medicine because she was having blood pressure issues. Like her blood pressure would be too low and stuff like that. And one side effect of that heart medication is like low blood pressure, and they could not risk that. They didn't want to risk it. So her SVT got better though. Like her high heart rate episodes, it got better, and she didn't have as many as she was having. So next thing you know though, her oxygen got a little bit worse. Or not worse yet, her oxygen got a little bit bad, as I should say, because it got worse. But her oxygen got a little bit more bad, to where they had to switch to a breathing tube down her throat now. No, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm missing steps. They had to switch to a CPAP machine, meaning is I'm gonna also put the picture of my daughter up so y'all can see what I'm talking about. They had to switch to this machine that go over her face, and it basically helps her breathing. Like, she's still doing it on her own, but that machine is just, giving her a little push. That wasn't working for her. So then they had to switch to what, you know, a lot of people in the world get when they really having trouble breathing, which is a breathing tube down their throat. So she had to get that. And then my baby was going through it, yo. That's why I always said she was so strong, because she used to be going through it to be a baby. Then they told me like her oxygen was getting really bad, and then told me that she had a respiratory infection, like a virus. And you know, doctors, you know, they gotta use the real term, and it sounds so worse. I'm like, a respiratory virus, what the fuck? But they like a cold. Basically a cold, but you know, they just call it respiratory virus because it's affecting your respiratory system, like your lungs. And that's why our oxygen was getting a little bit bad. So because, you know, everybody knows a cold is contagious, she had to be moved to a room by herself. She was in a room with other babies, but she had to be moved to a room by herself. They don't know how she got that, don't know, but yeah, my baby had a cold. So she got moved to the room by herself. Then, you know, cold went away after they gave her antibiotics and all this other stuff. Then they tried feeding her again. Same thing happened. Threw up. She would not tolerate it. They tried even feeding her from a bottle. She did not want it. Um, so they told me that they ran tests. This was the most stressful part, y'all. Knowing that is something wrong with your child, but all the tests is coming back negative that they're doing, is just like, I used to be angry and blame it on the doctors and be like, y'all are missing something, y'all not seeing something, because there's clearly something wrong with her. Like, y'all not finna tell me everything y'all, like every test y'all run and you don't see nothing come back. Like, no, no. Like, literally, they used to run a bunch of tests on why she even had the high heart rate, why she couldn't keep no milk down, and every test they came back with was like nothing was showing. And they even called stomach doctors. They had the heart specialist looking after her. And for the life of me, they always used to say, this child is a mystery. Me and my baby father had to do a genetic test because they said maybe it's something genetically wrong with her. And so me and my baby father had to do a genetic blood test. And they said, though, that don't come back until in 3 months. So we took it in the beginning of July. And it didn't come back until the end of September. And it only came back then because she was getting so worse. The doctors, like, was calling the genetic team and was like, we need this rushed because we need to figure out what's wrong with this baby. So this is why I just can't, I can't put my finger on why did everything happen how it happened, because of the end of July, me and the doctors had such a good meeting. They gave me the best news that I ever had asked for. The end of July, they wanted to have a meeting with me, the doctors, and we had a meeting, and they told me she was doing so much better, to the point where in the next 2 weeks, if she do better, I can take her home. The best freaking news ever, yo. Ever. They was like, she's not requiring a lot of oxygen anymore. You know, she's still having trouble with the feeding, but they were going to put a tube in her, and I just was going to have to, you know, learn how to feed her through the tube and just practice with her with a bottle, you know. But they was just like, she's doing so much better. Man, in the next 2 weeks, if she keep it up, she's coming home. Best news ever. Told everybody. God said no. I guess God said no. In the next 2 weeks, she got bad again. My bad. I got the Citizens app and like people get abducted. What the hell? But I'm sorry. But yeah, the next 2 weeks she got bad again, and after that started getting even worse. And they was trying to figure out like what is going on, like what is wrong with her. Last month they told me some really disturbing news. They said they looked at her lungs and it showed that she had pulmonary hypertension. I will also put the definition of that in the video. But pulmonary hypertension is basically, you know how people check your blood pressure in your arm? Well, this is blood pressure in your lungs. And pulmonary hypertension is life threatening and it does not have a cure. It only has medications to make it bearable, but they do not have medication to give you for it to go away. And if those medications don't work, it's life threatening because your lungs and your heart start to get weak because they're working so much and they start to fail. And that's exactly what happened with her. No medications was working. They told me they even tripled medication, which they usually don't do. They told me the amount of medication this is the crazy part, the amount of medications that she was on, if an adult like us was on, we would die. That's how much medication they was giving her, but her body wasn't taking it. Her body was not taking it at all. And her heart was getting weaker and failing. Then on top of that, remember that genetics test that I told y'all about? Something came back. They told me that they couldn't tell me a lot at one of the meetings I was at because the test just came back, but she do have something and they like maybe that's what caused all of this. So the third meeting that I had ever with them, it was the third meeting. This meeting was the deal breaker. Like I couldn't believe what they were saying to me this meeting. Like I couldn't. They basically described that she had a bone disease, and I will put the name of it, and maybe you guys can go look it up. Maybe maybe somebody out there probably had it. Their child probably had it, or whatever. But she had this bone disease, and it's a word that I can't pronounce. You know how the medical terms is. I can't pronounce it, but it's basically a bone disease. And this bone disease was so rare, y'all. One, she didn't even get it from me or her dad. That's the fucked up part about it. It's like, is like, how do you get something genetically and it's not even from your parents? Like, I can't understand that for the life of me. Like, me or her dad did not have this in our DNA, in our gene. So it's like, how, like, they just told me she just was rare and got it. And they said that this gene was so rare that it has only been out in the last 5 years. One. Two, only 20 people in the world, not in the state or a city, in the whole world. You know how many people that is in the world? And only 20 people have that? It's not common at all. It's not common at all. And they told me it was only one baby all the way in China who had similar problems that my daughter Kennedi had, but that baby didn't live. When they was telling me this, my heart was just like breaking, like then not to mention, y'all, for pulmonary hypertension, for a baby, for a newborn to have that, they have to be born with it. Newborns don't get that out the blue. Now, like adults or children, they can get it from an underlying cause, like maybe somebody got a heart disease which caused that. But for a newborn to get it, they have to be born with it. She wasn't though. That's why it's like it's freaking me out. It's tripping me out even now because it's like, how was my daughter getting all these things? How? Like, please tell me how. And it just was I don't know. But so she had the bone disease. They told me that they did see some people who survived with it, but they didn't have what she had, like that pulmonary hypertension and all of that. But if she just had the bone disease, she probably would have survived. It just would have been, her hands would have been like really, really small. Even as an adult, her hands wouldn't be this big. Like they would be really small and fat. Her feet would be really small and fat. She would have learning. She would have a learning disability. I don't care about none of that. I could have lived with all of that. I really could have. I could have lived with all of it. But yeah, so they told me that it is nothing else that they can do for her. They've been doing everything they can, and she's just like eventually is going to pass away. There's nothing they can do. And that right there was just like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, I just like, I couldn't believe it because it was like, no, like, she was just okay. Like, it just sucks because it's like, you see, like, your baby, she's like moving around, she's staring at you, she's holding your hand, and then the next minute, y'all telling me, like, I'm gonna have to pull the plug? Like, no. Like, unreal. Like, it felt like a fucking dream. It still felt like a dream right now. Um, um, she got so bad to the point where she couldn't even be awake. They had to give her paralyzed medication. That's the only way I was going to have more time with her and she was going to live, because they said when she was awake, she would move around too much and she would do too much. And so they had to paralyze her in order for me to have more time with her. And her oxygen got so bad to the point where she basically was on life support. Like, that oxygen machine was doing all the work. She was no longer breathing by herself. The oxygen machine was now breathing for her. And it just sucks because like it sucks because it's like she was born with one problem. One problem. And I'll even put up when she was born and she wasn't hooked up to anything. And then now 4 months later you telling me I'm gonna have to pull the plug? Like, unfucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, so I'm thinking like, they like, we're gonna have to pull the plug. So I'm like, okay. I'm thinking like, maybe in a month. They start talking about next week. I'm like, what the fudge? I'm like, no, y'all, no. Um, it came down to that point of pulling the plug because she started suffering. Um, she got real swollen because of the medication she was on. Uh, she can't be on paralyzed medication for long because it starts to make you swell, which she was really swollen, and that's suffering the child. But when she's not on that medication, she's suffering because like her heart is going low and low and low. Remember when I told you earlier in the video, rewind back if you want, that her heart rate used to be at like 140 or something. Her heart rate started being only like 110. Like it started going down. And they even told me like they wanted me to sign a DNR, and it means don't resuscitate. So if she would go into like if her heart rate would get really low or she would stop breathing, don't do nothing because um they said shocking a baby with those electrical shocks when they be like clear, they said that can kill her alone because she's only a baby. And I'm just like, oh my god, like this can't be life. But they told me like, yeah, eventually one day her heart probably will stop because it's getting weaker and weaker. So I had decided to pull a plug because it's just like, one, I'm not allowed. One, I'm not about to let my baby suffer. She been suffering this whole freaking time, and I'm not about to like sit here and just let her like die, be dying every freaking day. And then also, it wouldn't be bearable if one night, in the middle of the night, probably I'm getting a call like, "Sorry for your loss, but Kennedy passed away." I probably would not have been able to bear it if it happened like that. So we decided to pull the plug on October 6th. That's when she died. October 6th. She died at October 6th, 4:25 p.m. I had my family. My family got to come up there with me. I could not be there while they pulled that plug. I couldn't. I went to go see her like 9 o'clock that day to get my one last goodbye because I could not see her while they was taking that plug out, and I couldn't. My mom though and my baby father mom, they went, and so she passed away. So me and my sister, everybody got turns to go see her like while she was, deceased. Everybody got turns to just go hold her because she wasn't hooked up to none anymore. Got the dresser. I'm on my way to the room with my sister, and I was okay. Like my sister even asked me like, "Are you okay?" So I'm like, "Yeah," because I was okay because I had processed that she had to go. In the beginning, I couldn't process it. I didn't even want to be on this earth no more. That suicide stuff is real because I'm like, if my baby don't live, then I don't want to live. But something came over me. I don't know what it was, but something came over me, and I had finally realized, like, okay, she has to go, she has to. And I made peace with that. And so I was fine walking to that room. When I got to the door, I was not ready to see what I saw. I'm thinking she was still going to look like Kennedi, my baby, because she had just passed away. Y'all, she looked at like a dead body. Like She looked at like how a I can't even say the word, a dead body. When I got to that door, it's a glass door, and I broke down. I went into the room next to her. I couldn't even look at her for more than a second. I would look away, look away, because I'm like, this is not my child. Why does she look like this already? Already, she was blue, and I don't want to get into details, but all like how these shows be showing dead bodies, that's exactly how she looked. And I'm just like, what the fuck? When I tell y'all that right there scarred me for life, like just imagine like the first time I saw the dead body, it was my own child's. Like that shit will forever haunt me. I came home that day and had a nightmare about it that night. Like all I can see was that face. I tried so hard looking at other pictures of her, but all I can see was how she looked like a dead body. That's all I freaking saw. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But right now, um, I can't really explain how I feel right now. Like I'm just very numb. Like I still don't feel like she's gone. Like, and I want to feel like she is, because when it finally, I don't want it to be 6 months from now and it's finally hitting me like she gone and I have another freaking breakdown. I need it to hit me now because it's not hitting me that she's not here. Like, it's not like every day I wake up and still feel like, oh, she at the hospital. I gotta go see her. And she not, and I don't know why I can't feel like she's not here no more. Yeah, she's not. But it felt like a dream to me. Like it felt like a dream to me. Like I look at these pictures I have of her and be like, no. Like I look at these pictures that I have of her and it's just be like, no. Like my baby not going. Like she not going. But I just want to say, if you are a mom who has a sick baby in a NICU, you need to keep your faith. Nobody can tell, not even them doctors who got degrees and who's experts and all of that. Nobody can tell you what to do with your child. You carry that child for 9 months. Is that child mother. You know what's best for that child. I don't do what I did because I had lost faith. I lost faith. Them doctors, they can make you feel like there's no hope. They talk a good game, but their actions say something different. They can tell you out their mouth, oh, I'm gonna do everything I can, and it's gonna be alright. But their actions is like, listen, we gonna have to hurry up and do something. And that was me. They kept telling me, I don't wanna, my bad, yo. The way I'm sitting on this bed is uncomfortable. But they kept telling me, like, I don't want to rush you. I know it's a lot to deal with, and I'm sorry. But in the next minute, they like, we need to pull a plug. Can I pray for a miracle? Their actions was basically like, listen, ain't no miracle, you gonna have to do something. And that's why I'm telling y'all moms out there that do got sick babies, keep that faith. Pray for that miracle. I don't care if that doctor, God forbid, that doctor is like, your baby is dying or not gonna live. Keep that faith. Keep it. Because let me tell you, them doctors made me lose faith. And everybody around me was talking to Kennedi like, hey, you're gonna be okay. When you come home, we gonna do this. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, she's not coming home. She's not. She's passing away. Like, I had no more faith like everybody else. Well, everybody else. I lost it. I lost it. And I don't want y'all moms to do that because it made me feel bad. It made me feel bad that everybody was like keeping their faith and praying for a miracle for my baby, and I wasn't over here doing it. Like, it really did make me feel bad, and it's just like, y'all moms, y'all know what's best for y'all kids. Keep faith. Keep praying for a miracle. That's all you can do in times like that. Um, I can't even, like, my train of thought is like going. Like, I can't even remember what the hell, what else I was ready to talk about. Um, oh, I remember. Also, I know my moms out here who going through what I'm going through. Don't direct your anger to people because they didn't do it. I feel myself trying to direct my anger to everybody. I tried to direct my anger towards my baby dad. Me and him was already going through some stuff. And, I started getting angry at him because I was hurt. I was angry about what was going on with my daughter, and I wanted to blame somebody. So it just was like I started getting mad at little stuff. Like, I started telling my cousin, like, oh, he ain't even been up to see his child. I bet somebody asked him, like, when the last time you even saw her. Like, I started getting upset. Like, I remember I walked out of the meeting crying, and he didn't come, like, after me and console me. And I was like, telling my cousin, like, damn, he didn't even come out and see what that. Like, I started, like, blaming him. But I had to sit down and think, like, don't do it, because this was right before she passed away. And I'm like, I started telling myself, don't do that, because me and him is about to need each other more than ever when she passes. And so I had to tell myself, like, stop trying to take my anger out on him. Stop telling people, you know, like, the bad things he's doing or something like that. Then I directed my anger towards the doctors. I was trying to find any and everybody to get angry at. I directed my anger towards the doctors, and I remember me saying, like, maybe if y'all tested it and take 3 fucking months to come back, y'all could have stopped it. Y'all, like, I was just angry, and I wanted to, like, somebody was gonna get blamed. But I had to take a step back, and it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. And for y'all moms out there that's going through this, I know y'all probably is angry. But I'm not going to tell you not to be angry, because I'm angry. Trust me. I'm angry, and that's one of the reasons why I don't want to be around people right now, because if somebody even said the wrong thing to me, I'ma curse them out. I don't want to go out into the world, like, go have a day out because somebody bumped me. I'm gonna take all my anger. Like, I'm angry, and I'm not telling you not to be angry. Be angry, but all I'm saying is, don't direct anger to people who's trying to help you, because they didn't do it. Even if a person has hurted you, probably, still don't be angry at them. Don't be angry at them for, like, maybe taking your child away, because they did not do it. They didn't do it. Um, this is a very long video. I'm at 40 minutes. So I am going to be making like a part 2 to this. And it's basically going to be me talking about how I'm dealing with everything, how I'm feeling. Part 2 will probably be a real short video. I just want to cut this one right now because it's already at 40 minutes. You know, I'm new to all the editing, so I got to edit this long video, which I probably won't even edit. I'll probably just leave everything in, you know, raw and uncut footage. But, thank you for watching this video. I'm about to make a part 2 right after this. So come on and join me. Sorry if I made you cry. But yeah, so I hope you really enjoyed and connected with me on this video. And please subscribe to me. Subscribe was my I think I've like figured out my motto because I'm always saying like subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a cousin. Like, but please like, share, subscribe, comment down below if you're going through what I'm going through, or you can comment down below and send me some prayers, whatever. Okay, so peace out. I'm about to make a part 2 right now.